If I was to say the word England, in your mind's eye, what do you think you would see? How about this place? Downing Street? Maybe you might have a vision popping into your head of the Houses of Parliament and Big Ben. Or on the other hand, possibly Buckingham Palace, where the Queen lives. Vivid picture of old and new buildings squidged up against each other. Then again you might just get a vivid picture of the Tower Bridge. Marching soldiers in red tunics wearing Busby hats. Or this guy might just pop into your brain. This is England. Beautiful lush green fields that roll on for miles and miles. One or two stately homes dotting the countryside with their fancy gardens. Wind-swept crags, rocky outcrops. Endless miles of moorland that go on forever and ever. Stick to the road. Beware of the moon. We've all heard that before, haven't we? Quiet little roads with hardly any traffic. And one or two beautiful gushing rivers and bubbling brooks. And the best of all, beautiful old buildings and history that goes on forever and ever.
Why does it have to necessarily be this species of Dogman?
Like the werewolf type thing, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that goes back to sightings, people seeing the things. If it was just a large wolf, they would say, bloody hell, that's a bloody big wolf that is running around there. You know, they wouldn't say, it's as big as a horse, but it's got a head like a monkey. It's there's something out there, there's something going on. But it isn't just a big wolf. No, definitely not a big wolf. Not listening to what people say, like I said before, you know, there's these professionals that come forward and tell people things. And it's the same thing over and over again. It ain't no big wolf on four legs, it's something different.
I think I just have one last question. If like there was something that, you know, the general public, you wanted the general public to know about Dogman or werewolves, or like just one general thing, something that might make you look into it, some general fact about them, what would it be?
Probably we're not the head of the food chain, and just always be ready and make sure that you look after yourself and don't think that you're the big boss of the forest, because you're not.
Now just here in that clump of trees, probably getting on to nearly 10 years ago now, a good friend of mine who owns this land. At the time it was pasture land. There were cows on here. Now it's a completely different business altogether. It's green waste and recycling now. But all this out here was completely different. It was nice flat grazing pasture land, and behind yourselves, we'll go and have a look in a minute, there's a little bench under a tree, and that's the place she was sat in the middle of summer with a dog, just watching the wildlife which was roaming around in this field. And to her horror, roughly where that tree is, there's a fence. We're going to go a bit closer in a minute and have a look. And this animal came along. She says to me that it was about the size of a bull. At first she thought that it had escaped from the neighbouring farm, got out of the field, you know. Then took another detailed look at it, and it looked more like a dog, but it was the size of a bull. Now, once we get down there in a minute, we'll get under the tree that tree's all grown up now. It wasn't quite as big as that. It's a willow tree that it's like kind of dropped down, branches that give way. You'll see the fence line, and we'll be able to get a height off the fence with me stood next to it to give you an idea of what the actual size of the beast was. So let's go and have a march over, and we'll go and see the actual place it trotted by, and thought I could hear something then. But yeah, anyway, let's go and have a look. Okay, here we are. This is the spot that it was first seen by my mate's mum. Now, the creature came from that way across here. Now, this tree that we're under was not as big as this. This is a willow tree. That's basically collapsed on itself and made itself about several times bigger. But at the time, this fence was all viewable from where we were just stood before, and the fence post here is about to my armpit, I would say, and I'm 5'9" on a good day. And she said it came trundling down here on all fours, as big as a bull, which, depending on your breed of bull or whatever I say, his shoulders was probably about as high as mine. She said it looked more like a dog though, as in its stature and how it walked. So it carried on that way towards a bit of woodland and then just disappeared out of sight. Now, further down the railway line, because the railway line is here, and incidentally, everybody who is new to this channel, I have a theory about railway lines, and I'll just quickly run in a videotape of an interview I did on a podcast. So it'll just be a quick blast of explaining what I think these railways are used for. So we'll just run that now. We'll get straight back here in a second.
Sasquatches use power lines in America to travel.
Yeah.
Fun fact. That's interesting.
Well, there's 10,000 miles of railway in England, and the whole land is it's posted with no trespassing signs. You know, if I get caught on there, it's £1,000 or it's $1,300 fine. So that land, like I say, it's 10,000 miles of it all over the country that spreads out like a spider's web. No one goes on it. No one travels on it, apart from when they sat inside a metal tube whizzing along. So this thing can move anywhere it wants. Yeah, the incident on the bridge that I was just talking about. He said to me that this animal, it seemed to know that a train was coming. He said it was there 1 minute sniffing around, and then it disappeared into the bushes, and this train come whizzing along, and then it come back out of the bushes and carried on doing what it was doing. It was like it sensed it, but I suppose if you're an animal, you can feel the ground rumble and things like that. So yeah. People are saying that if this thing's on a railway, there's millions of people a day use trains. Why has nobody seen it? This thing seems to know when the train's coming along, and it gets out of the way.
So, there's the theory. Sounds good. And since I came up with that theory some years ago, other people are taking note of it. Just that. I bet it isn't even a mile that way. Is the now famous what we've known as Dogman Bridge, where the train spotter saw train. Here we go. See, so you can see how close we are. Yeah, where he saw a creature. We're gonna try and hunt that guy down and get a bit more information off him. He's very elusive. He doesn't want to be on camera, but we'll sort something. But yeah, it's just that way, quarter of a mile. That's Dogman Bridge, but we're interested in this bit at the moment. So yeah, the animal went that way. She was sat over there on there's a little bench actually that's still there from all them years ago. It's behind a mound now. There's a big mound of mud. But we'll go and look at that bench in a minute. It's not that exciting, but it's still there, and it's just a bit more authenticity, isn't it? So yeah, this is the place it went, along here. We're going to follow the direction of travel any second now, and try and work out how close it would have got to the fence, or whereabouts it could have even got over the fence. But yeah, let's get down here, and we'll go and have a see what we can find anything else. So the area just here is the fence where we were just talking about in relation to the size of the animal that was seen, and we're walking in the direction of the way the wee beastie went. Now, you probably get little glimpses of the fence here at the side of us, and all this up here. That's railway land. Unfortunately, we can't get on there. I'd love to get in there and have a good look around there, but it's a big no-no in this country. It's a mega fine. I think it's £1,000, maybe more now. It's not a place for us to be going looking, which is probably why these animals use those lines to go up and down and travel here, there and everywhere. But yeah, this is where it walked. Now I'm going to turn round, and I need to look into the behind, over my left here. There's a little, what you can put to yourselves, there's a little white dot, but roughly there, that's where Anne was sat on the bench with the dog when she saw the animal come across this fence line. Now, we'll go over there in a minute and have a look at it from that side, looking down to here where we are. The fence is just here, it's less than 10 yards at the side of me. Still very close to it. It is quiet down here. Not quite where you would panic and think that there's some kind of predator around. There's plenty of bird sign. But yeah. As I mentioned before, there's said bench where she was sat looking out over this field. Now, I know it's not anything really exciting, but It's still here. I'm not going to sit on it because it's been sat there at least 10 years, probably longer. But it was under these trees here, under these bit of bushes that her son made that bench for her, and she would sit here and then look out in the summer while the dog sniffed about or had a bit of a sleep. I'll just go to camera, I'll swing you around and explain a bit more about that mound that's now in the way. So there's the bench, so she would have been looking straight across to basically where we've just been in there. So it would have been a good commanding view of this whole field. Forget about this mound, but all the way along the hedge, all the way round. So yeah, this is probably the entire view that she would have had. First spotted in that tree over there where we just were before talking near the fence. It's worked its way across the fence line that we could roughly see down there. You'll see it on drone. All the way along there and disappeared behind them bushes that are over that side. Now, if you were to walk that yourself, it would probably, probably take you 3 minutes or something like that. And she is, it's hard to say how far away she is from it, but probably I would say about the length of the football pitch. I wish I'd have seen it. But your mobile phone cameras wouldn't have been much good them days as well anyway. Even if she'd have had one with her, but she didn't. But it would have just been a potato picture. But yeah, cracking sighting. Very, very lucky woman. How you think about it? No, it's not terrorised her or anything. But yeah, the area, the direction it went, I can actually see Dogman Bridge from here. I'll get you to here and we'll go and have a look at it. Let's try and pull some focus on it. So that's just the top of Dogman Bridge. It's commonly known as now, after the sighting about 3 years ago. It is a quarter of a mile as the crow flies. It is not very far away. Come on, train, where are you? You just know as soon as I move from here, a train is going to show up. Isn't it? Guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. So I have, there's a lot of comments on my channel, people worried in a way that I'm out here looking for these creatures and I'm not armed. Well, this land that I'm on is private. I am armed today. I'm not telling you what with. But it's a bang bang stick that has a some nice things you put inside it that are rather like a snail but without a shell. Oop, I said shell. We slugged up anyway. And when I'm not on private land, I have rather exotic collection of cutlery and other toxic substances that animals don't like. And if you listen, you may not pick it up, but if you listen you can hear gunshot in the background there. But we're still waiting for a bloody train. There's a noisy crow down there as well. You couldn't write it, could you? Come on, train. Bugger.